And welcome to our next episode of To Lovecraft and Back. We are going to be talking about the wonderful, amazing episode Holy Ghost, which is one of my favorite. I am, of course, the amazing, talented, everything Aaron M. And we have our great...
You keep saying great. I'm just good. Yes. You have Michael. You know, I'm the AKA the odd geek because I like a lot of things. You know, I'm a geek. I was playing. But yeah, I'm super excited because we have not been behind the mic in a minute. So like, I'm super excited. I just watched both of these episodes today, so I'm like super excited to talk about Holy Ghost really quick and get into it. So, you want to start us off, sir?
Oh, yeah. So basically, for everybody, who's listening, episode 3 is about Letty and trying to mend her relationship with her sister Ruby as she gets a Victorian house in Chicago. And a lot of people aren't happy, including some ghosts, which go into the title. And it also leads, kind of, leaves some seeds for later episodes that we're going to get into later. But I'm going to start off with what I really love about this episode is that we have this backstory of this doctor of the house that, of the owner who previously owned the house that was given to Letty, through some very shady circumstances. He basically was a serial killer, murdering all these, black individuals. And it also is implied that he'd experiment on. And what was interesting is that is straight out of reality, because there was a woman in New Orleans. She died in about 1849, I believe. Her name was Madame Blanc, and she was a socialite, and she was known for basically doing the exact same thing that Dr. Epstein in this episode was doing. Just an awful stuff. And that's, the beauty of what this show is, like we've spoken before, is that this is all rooted in reality, even though we have this very supernatural thing.
Yeah. I love the fact that they can, take little pieces of things like that and bring it to the forefront with this show and bring it to life. And, hearing about this creepy doctor is just crazy because he was really like doing this making these experiments and doing these experiments and testing these experiments on black people. So, and Letty finds out that, previously owner of this house was the doctor, and, he did all these things. So to have that happen, and then now her being in that house and he's trying to get her out. I think this was a perfect ghost story. I mean, for her to have to, research and figure out what was in this house beforehand and find out, I think that was just hand in hand with her character development, because she's dealing with a lot, especially moving into this house. And when they first moved into this house, they're moving into a white neighborhood on the north side of Chicago. And her goal with this is being able to make this a safe haven for black natives in Chicago and other artists. I saw some photographers in there, and I think it was some writers and things like that in the house that live with her. So she wants to be able to, give this and make this a safe haven. But when she shows Ruby that house, it's creepy. It looks very, very decrepit, very, very haunted. And I could tell from just looking at the house on the outside, I was just like, okay, yeah, there's some ghosts in that house. Like, It's got to be some ghosts in that house. But that doesn't stop her from doing what she wants to do. I mean, she, renovates the house and everything. But moving into this neighborhood, it comes with a price. And I think the next topic that we can talk about is her moving into this neighborhood and moving into this house, is that the fact that they are not welcome in this neighborhood. I mean, soon as they got there and when they're getting, settled and everything, and a couple of days after the fact, you have 3 young white men standing outside. You have this loud honking of the horn because they have put this brick onto the horn and taped it down. And they're just looking like, yeah, we don't want you in this neighborhood. But that doesn't stop them. They continue to go on what they got going on. And, Letty throws this big housewarming party. And I think that's what it was, is that, no matter what, I know you don't want me here, but I'm still going to be here. I have a right to be here. You're not going to take this away from me. This is my house. This is my territory. You're not going to run me out of this neighborhood. So that's what, for me, it helps me understand her character development and building who she is. She's a strong, independent Black woman, and she's going to fight for what she wants. So just picking it back on what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. What going off of that, what I really love about this episode is that this is her episode. You know, this is not like we still get Tick and we still get, you know, the whole plot that was already established, but this is really getting to know Letty. You know, we even get to, you know, have a little more insight of her relationship with her sister Ruby. And we get, you know, basically with that party, that house party, we get, you know, all these different characters that, you know, some are going to show back up obviously later, but just kind of rewatching this, you know, with the set of eyes that I have now, you know, I can really appreciate what this was already, you know, trying to do and establish. It's like, it shows even in the face of adversity, Letty does not, you know, she doesn't flinch, even though she still, you know, obviously is, you know, cautious and she cares about the people around her. She doesn't flinch because those, you know, those white guys with the bricks on their horns, like later, as soon as the moment, I think, you know, we get into this much later, but the moment they plot this, you know, burning cross in her yard, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna grab this bat. You know, it's that is iconic, and with the music, like it just, that's her character. I also really like that we got an insight into, you know, who she is, because halfway through when she's talking to Tick, you know, they basically make love, or they're about to make love. And, you know, it's like she's a flirt, you know, that's what she appears as, but we know better. You know, she's, you know, there's layers to this character that just haven't been touched on, you know, and you just kind of seeing where she was episode 1 to now, it's like we're getting a lot more,
such
you
a
know,
big dynamic between episode 1 and now. Like the development between 1, 2, and now is just amazing. Like you see her climbing up the ladder of character development. And I'm glad you said something about, you know, the relationship, because that goes right back to the house party, just because, well, first it goes to the opening scene with her being in a church and, you know, her, you know, digesting everything that happened in episode 1 and episode 2, and then being right there at George's funeral. You can see her digesting herself and everything that she's like processing. I know I was reading an article about this episode, and one big word that it kept saying with her was resurrection. With her dying in episode 2 and then being brought back, and she having, when she was in the bathroom and she was having it like, not, I guess you can say it was a panic attack, but her realizing that she had just died and then she had came back. This is like her resurrection episode. You know, she's been reborn. She's in this whole new light, in this whole new character. She's done bought this house. She got these people that want her in this house, but she don't care. She threw a big old party, a housewarming party, you know, serving drinks, running around. One of my favorite gifts of Lovecraft Country is seeing her coming down those steps and just pouring like the drink and going around to everybody and smiling, because it's the happiness of what I've done for myself and the people around me. She made that house a safe haven for, you know, like natives in Chicago. So I'm like, it's for me, it's the character development of her building up this wall of her. But what you talking about her and Tick, man, this contagious love for each other, the attraction they have is very intense, and with them, you know, hooking up in the bathroom, and then it's just like, you know, I think we all were like, yes, 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 because when she was dancing on that guy before all that happened, you can tell that intense look between the both of them. You just like, oh man, like, what are y'all gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna dance with them, or are you just gonna keep teasing them? Like, what you gonna do? Like, but to see them do that, and then what situation happens, and, you know, I think we all know this is her first time, and he's just like, you know, it's cool, you know, and I think that speaks on him and it speaks on her for the character development of the relationship that they have. So, you know, I for now, I do like Tick and and Letty together. Oh, Teddy, that's Tick and Teddy. I just thought about that. No, I do like Tick and Letty together. I mean, I think they complement each other well. I think they support each other well. But as the series goes on, I think that's gonna just like for me. But continuing with this house party, Ruby spots a burning cross in the yard, and we see Letty go to, I want to say Phoenix Forest. Let me stop. Letty goes to the next level because she is sick of their shit. I mean, you can't keep poking the bear and think you're not gonna get, clawed or whatever. But at the same time, it's like they were already having a good time at this party. The music that Ruby's band is playing is drowning out this horn, and then now you set a cross on fire in my yard. Okay, it's time for, some repercussions. So we see Letty go out, and I think this was my favorite scene for one because the powerfulness of the scene, but it was the song. Everything that the devil stole, God is giving back to me. And I think it went hand in hand with her busting out these windows and pop, hitting the dang on brick out. And it just went hand in hand because you're not about to steal my joy. You're not about to steal this house from me. You're not about to steal this neighborhood from me. Like, you're not about to do that. So I think for me, it was just her elevating herself and showing that independence, because you see the guys, they had the guns and everything, but she took full control of that situation. Kudos to whoever placed that scene together with that music. You did a wonderful job. I just want to say, because that, I'm trying not to sing it, but that was my favorite part of that whole episode, because I know
I'm
that
with
song.
You on that.
I know that song
I'm totally
from
with you on that one.
church, and I think that, like, to hear that hand in hand with this show, I was just like, that is crazy. So, how was you feeling about that? Because that was very powerful.
Like I was saying earlier, that is just. We've seen all the gifts. We've seen, everybody uses some capacity. Like, it really is iconic. Like, if, like maybe 5 years or even a year from now, when, we still talk about, Lovecraft Country season 1, this is probably going to be in the top 3, most powerful scenes of what the show represents. Exactly. And it's like, right afterwards, what I guess it's a love-hate kind of relationship, because, I love the introspection we get on it, but it's like right after she takes charge compared to all of these other people who are very fearful of what's going on, she puts the bat down, she puts her hands over her head when everybody else kneels on the ground. And it's like the reality of it is like you can have these, big moments that we all want to see, right? Where, someone of color is, taking charge of a very hostile situation, but the reality is she's gonna go to jail.
Yeah, we still in that
because they that damage of property.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just and what I think is that the most powerful is that the scene right after is like after she does this, this really courageous act, and she's in custody, she still doesn't flinch.
Still doesn't, because
with these cops who are trying to get everything out of her. Mm-hmm. Like that is. Misha, and the writers and Journey, obviously, like I said before, this is Letty's episode for her to shine. This is the one that, really solidifies what the series is going to be moving forward.
Yes, I was a little upset because when they put their hand, I wasn't upset, but when they put their hands on her head, I knew what it was, and I was just like, I don't want anything to happen to her, but Lord beholds, when she gets in this back of this van, it gets really real, and that big bad sheriff or whatever you want to call him is just antagonizing her in this van, and in the back of this police car, and just telling her, like, accusing her, like, do you how did you get the money for this house? And do you know what was in this house before? Because, I guess we know his plans and everything, and we know what he's about and everything, but it's just like the way he antagonized her, and then what he put her through by, basically them swerving and, she's being beat up. And it's just like, it's one of those harsh realities that really could have happened in, you know, that time frame. And to see that happen on the show, it's just like she just had this big powerful moment, and then now she's been taken down a notch.
Right. And I think, you know, getting into like the meat of the episode from this point on, you know, was just that we get the, you know, the big name dropping of the Book of Names. We get, you know, basically what the new plot is, because, you know, like I've told you before, you know, off recording, like I think that this episode is the beginning of an entirely different, you know, tale that Lovecraft Country is telling, because it's like episode 1 and 2, that's its own little thing. And this is, you know, this could be considered the epilogue, but it's also a new beginning.
Exactly.
Because, you know, we have Christina, you know, walking around. We can definitely talk about her later, but, you know, she's walking around trying to figure out things. It's revealed, you know, she gave Letty money to get the house. But, you know, I think it also shows how, you know, disgusting and just slick, you know, and sly she is, because she knew that there was an evil ghost in this household, you know. And it's like and obviously when she talks to the sheriff and stuff, you know, they all know it's like one big, you know, joke for them,
right.
But they still want to give Letty and these black people hell. And that just, you know, that speaks on, it's like this, you know, everyone's in on the joke except for the main characters. And, you know, that is what has been, you know, that's what's being set up from this point on. And we just, you know, we get a lot of different things we can talk about in other episodes, you know, little things. It just, this is one of those episodes that, you know, set us off on a new journey.
Yeah, when you said it earlier about the whole, you know, this has been like an epilogue, and I was just like, when I had sat down and I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what, this is almost like, you know, episode 1 and 2 was just like its own thing, but then it was like 3 was like an epilogue, and then like a beginning of, because we're getting deeper into the Book of Names, and I felt like, you know, because everybody has their little plots and everything like that, but it's just setting it up for more to come as each episode goes. So I really resonated with you when you said that, how this is a new beginning. I do want to talk about the fact that, you know, after the whole situation with her, you know, going to jail and everything, she's come back. We get to know that it was 8 ghosts in the house, and there was an evil doctor. And the way that this house is set up is haunted. Like, you had the whole furnace situation in the first half of the episode, the whole her being haunted by a ghost where it pulls the sheets back and the mouth is just all bloody and everything. But for her to find out that, you know, that this doctor owned this house and he was doing these experiments on human subjects, you know, was the disappearance of these black Southside residents that she found out about. So, you know, I felt like it was more of her researching about that house, and I felt like, you know, in a sense, I mean, I feel like, you know, it was there to just give her more development on herself of the situation that she was going through and everything. So,
yeah, and I think her, you know, kind of taking the initiative, you know, once again, you know, taking the initiative to even go try to find someone to, you know, clear the bad energy of the household. Right. You know, that's a testament of her. But see, and I kind of want to go in just a little deeper, as I do every episode, is that I kind of feel like what Misha and the writers were doing, you know, is something that a lot of, you know, in our communities, you know, we talk about, and that is, and it also goes into, I guess, you know, the last part of the episode, but it's that where religion is rooted, you know, for Black people, it really does come back to ancestral, you know, acknowledgement and, you know, prayer and stuff. And it's like, you know, Letty, the only way she can basically fight off this evil spirit is she has to, you know, reach out to these Black ghosts in the house, who've all been brutally tortured. And, that could easily be considered, a metaphor for like, having your ancestors have your back because, this woman, I think she, sliced the goat's neck in order to, start the process.
She did. She sliced the goat's neck and then.
Yeah. So that's, that's
house.
African, that's African spirituality right there. And it's just like, this is, this goes deeper than, what, just a classic ghost story. But, another thing I really like is that it's interpreted now that, after, rewatching it, is the ghosts in the house. They were trying to warn Letty. They were trying to warn everyone in that house. Like even with the kids, they were trying to tell them through the Ouija board, like, hey, we're here, but do you really need to be here? And it's just, that whole, it's all these little things that have been set up, throughout this episode. Like I was saying earlier, just we're leading, we're getting seized to much bigger plot points because, we can briefly talk about it, but like just kind of Christina just kind of, bobbing and weaving throughout the whole story or this episode. And then at the very end, Tick deciding, like Tick does, to take some initiative and try to shoot the girl.
Child.
And she's like, no, you can't, she's like, just stopped him.
Right.
That's, that let me know, she's a very important, villain. I thought somehow, like a brother or her dad or, some other spirit was going to show up that was going to challenge her. No, she's flat out the villain, at this point, but you just want to hate the girl.
I do because I love amazing. A good witch, and I feel like she is a good witch, bad witch.
Yeah, but the actress.
She is a really good actress. I really hope she gets tapped to play Emma Frost. No shade. She will be a good Emma Frost. Just throwing it out there. But since we on that scene, like him Tick, like gets on my nerves sometimes. But like you go up to her and you proclaim what you want and what you're gonna do and da 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 da. Don't forget she knows spells and stuff like that. And the fact that she froze him up and it was funny because she was like, whenever you're ready to learn about our family, let me know. You give me a call. I'm just like, she playing with you. And it's the fact that she was like, and then she also said like, you can't kill a white woman in this town. Like,
right.
She like a cat and mouse, like just that's just crazy. But Christina, as you said, yes, she bobs and weaves out this episode because when she came to Letty that first time and that was the next episode. I was about to go deeper. But she bobs and weaves in and out of the episode. And I feel like just because she's just plotting and planting seeds for what she has in store for her own self. I feel like she is, I don't want to say selfish, but she is selfish. I mean, she has an end game. She has a goal that she's trying to reach. And if she got to plant seed in this person's head, that person head, and that and the third, she's going to do what she has to do. But yeah, when they got that voodoo priest and she put she protected the house and everything, and we can go ahead and get into it with that, after Letty finding out about this doctor and finding out about these missing people and realizing that, especially when she put all the pictures together and then his head came up and basically trying to scare her out the house, she wasn't afraid. She said, okay, let's go to the next. And that's why they bring the priest and everything like that. And, to see her stand strong and basically rebuke this man out of this house, and you see these ghosts all around her and everything, and they're giving her the power to get him out and exorcise him out of the house. It was just a good feeling. It was just more, you can see when she's like, speaking and praying and everything, and you see the emotion and the drain coming from her, the power coming from her, because she is putting her all and her soul into this, because she wants this out, because she wants to live comfortably in this house. So, I think that was just more of her, this is a focus of her. I think she had a big jump in character development on this episode, because you see her at the beginning of the episode in the house, and then go all the way down to I think it was like 15 minutes left in the episode when they're, doing this exercise of getting him out. What tripped me out is when it jumped in Tick. Now that tripped me out because, when it jumped in Tick, it made me feel like, I'm playing with your emotions because this is somebody that you care about. And, most ghost stories or most exorcisms does that. A demon will jump into, or a ghost will jump into somebody that you care about or somebody that's close to you. So the fact that they did that and, had somebody, had him jump into Tick, and then now she got to pray this thing out of Tick, and then you see all of them come up and everything. It was just, that scene was very powerful. It really, really was. So.
And I think for me, what makes it even more powerful was just the imagery of, these black bodies, coming together with her, and joining her in the prayer, to get this guy out of the house. But it's like, you see how they were mutilated in one way or the other, as their ghosts. But it's like the stronger they got with Letty, and, when they revealed, the ghost, the racist ghost basically, out of Tick's body, and he was in the middle. It's like his spirit started deteriorating while theirs
was restoring.
Basically took right, and that was just so powerful. Because and it's like the iconic "get the F out my house." Like, come on.
It was. I think. Ooh, I forgot. Not saying I forgot, but what you saying that it was like, he was deteriorating and they were restoring, like, because he took their bodies away from them. He took their mind, spirit, and soul away from them. So for them to get that back as they're casting them out and he's just disintegrating and deteriorating and they're getting back who they are, it was just amazing to see them be at peace at that time. So, that was a lot. It was good though. It was a great ghost
it was,
story.
But I think now we need to talk about, what it's kind of set up for future episodes is that, this is the episode right after George's death, and it's like we get, Hippolyta basically grieving, without seeing her grieve, we know she's grieving just by ripping pages out of the book, getting frustrated with Tick because the way he places the coffee mugs and like this, George is, very evidently gone from their life. And, his daughter and his wife don't know what happened. And the idea that Montrose, Letty, and Tick all lied to her, all lied to Hippolyta about what really happened with her husband, that really speaks on their character, and it speaks on, what they're trying to hide. But, Hippolyta obviously knows something's wrong, and that speaks on her intelligence. And I think that just, this is also the beginning of where we get to see Hippolyta at her finest.
Yeah. I can't wait because we go deeper into her and we get to see more of her, finding independence on her own with her grieving and everything with this situation. So we get to find her, going through more and digging deeper into it. But when it comes down to the other three being affected by this, especially Tick and Montrose, this because that's Montrose's brother. So, and we know what I don't think at that time we knew what was said to him that day, but we do know that it gives more of a deeper, weaker connection between Montrose and Tick, because Tick looked at George as his father. So, it gives more of, no, you're fine. It gives more of their relationship and everything that they're going through. Okay. So like, what did I say? Let's see. How can I say this? Okay. So with George dying and everything like that, and having, Tick and Montrose, their relationship and everything, it evolves into this whole nother thing, because Tick looked at Montrose as his dad. Tick looked at George as his dad versus, Montrose and George being brothers and everything. It just leaves a whole bunch of untoned stones. I was trying to find the right thing. Untoned stones between them because, with Tick staying in Chicago and everything, will they be able to reconcile and get to the wound of what this father and son relationship was after them both losing somebody that is close to them and everything?
Right. And I also, kind of bring this back to Hippolyta. I think it also speaks on how they're leaving her out of the entire conversation.
Exactly.
It's like even in the face of straight up insanity, that was his death. It's like, how can they basically try to protect her, and she just wants to know the truth.
Right.
And, her base, kind of snooping in the house during the house party, that really showed that she's still feeling some type of way about what's going on.
Right.
And I love how even, it's like Tick tried, I think they said, a couple months, during that, like Tick really tried to fill in that void that, George left, but it's like he just can't.
Right.
And, kind of going into what you were saying, it's like Tick really, looking back, Tick wanted to be like George, and he just can't. And, arguably he may be a little bit like his father, Montrose, and he may not like that, but it is what it is. But it's like, just kind of seeing, Tick suffer this identity crisis with the only, man that he really did trust, in his life, just, gone from him, and not being able to talk to, his mother figure, or even his sister, basically his little sister. And, that really does show like Tick is isolating himself,
right?
From all these people, and he's becoming his father.
Right. Oh, Montrose. I have a soft spot for Montrose, and we'll get into that later. But I have a soft spot for him. I'm trying to think. You said something, and I wanted to touch. Oh, yes, Hippolyta searching in his house. When she found what she found, I was kind of happy she found what she found, because I felt like now we're gonna get more deeper into her. Her love for the science and space and astronomy and stuff like that. So, I was kind of glad she found that, and then how it was revealed to her and everything like that. I was really feeling that. So, I'm happy that when we get deeper into what she's doing with that, I'm happy because she's a very intelligent woman, and I think she's very strong. I'll say that for right now. She's a very strong character. Let's talk about Letty and Ruby, because the whole inherited situation is a situation that's going to put more... Because Ruby was upset about Letty getting money from this inheritance of her mom, and, she was just like, wait, mom gave you get money from mom, and you weren't even at the funeral. And I think that just plays hand in hand with them and their relationship. And it sucks because Letty wanted to have this house and wanted them to bond and rebuild this house and do this together. And I think because of that, it still has that tension with them. Because I guess with Letty not showing up to their mother's funeral, it just gives more layers to who they are as characters. And, will they be able to reconcile and come together later in the series? It sucks, but, I love the fact that they are two different people, and we get to see them, move in two different ways. So I'm super excited. I was super excited to see their character development have the tension, but also we get to see them be independent on their own two things. So shout out to episode 5 with Ruby.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that talk. I really do feel like, after, like when I first watched, that whole back and forth between them go down, a part of me was like, Letty, just offer the girl some money, because that's obviously what she wants. But after rewatching it, I'm like, would that have even, fixed their already rocky relationship? Because it obviously was not about the money. It was about, Letty kind of leaving Ruby out, about,
Right.
basically that's how she pictured it. And I'm just like, speaking on, the testament of like their, sisterhood, or lack thereof. It's just, we get a different, not really a different side per se, but like we get to see more of why there's this, really strong tension between these two. And it's, I think Letty, even admits she's a lot like her mother, more so than Ruby. And a part of me is starting to think, and we're definitely going to get into that, in episode 5, but is Ruby, why is there animosity, so much animosity? Does it come down to colorism? Is it because, like we got to get into that, but it's like, what real issues? Because the way she keeps throwing her, mother's funeral in her face, just like her brother, there's obviously something deeper,
Right.
That isn't being acknowledged. And I'm just, I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah,
but
Ruby. I have a
I got a lot of questions.
Right, I have not a love hate, but a love dislike for Ruby sometimes, because I'd be like, "Girl, why are you so mean?" Like, but then as the story, as her character develops, and as the story goes on, I understand, and I'm just like, I get it. I get it. Real quick. Miss Christina, should we be celebrating the fact that she did help Letty, or should we be nervous that she is using Letty and tick for her own designs?
And that is, I think, this has me conflicted. This shows how great, of an actress she was, and how great the writers are. But it's like, I really do have a love-hate relationship with Christina, because when I see her, making moves, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I can respect that. You can respect this, white girl, basically saying she doesn't need the men in her life. She doesn't need, all she needs is just to get the bloodless black man, basically, and she's good to go. But it's like she's really playing chess with these guys, and you can't be mad at her, because she's very knowledgeable of the magic arts. But it's just
chess. like she's really playing the game of chess. Like she's very strategic. She's very, like I said, she plants seeds in waters. Like she's watering. Like she does that the whole entire series. I'm sorry, but she does that the whole entire series. She plants seeds and she continues to water them. And I think what makes her such a strong, pivotal villain or whatever she is that because she, like you said, she doesn't care. She doesn't need, not saying that she doesn't need anybody, but she doesn't need anybody to really to do what she wants to do. She plants her seed and she continues to do what she has to do for herself. I hate to say it, but she is selfish, but she, she's just thinking about herself. And, it is what it is when it comes down to Christina. I do say, as it gets more into it, I love Christina. Like I really do.
Yeah. And I'm really interested, just in seeing, like, from episode 1 where she was, just like, who is this girl, to now you're just, you're starting to see she's a lot worse than her father.
Right.
And that she's not just going to outright start, killing people or doing this and that. And the third, she's actually plotting and scheming and making plans. And she's, if the sheriff's in her way, who, is also into the, cult knowledge, she's just like, I will take it in stride, but I'm going to keep on moving.
Right. And that's what
and I think this was the episode where she was playing with the kids too.
No, that's the next episode.
Oh, well, never mind. We're going to hold off on that, because we can talk about that.
Yeah,
but,
she's a cat and mouse. Like, she plays cat and mouse. Like, at the end of the day, like, she has an agenda. She's going by her checklist, and she's getting the things done that she needs to do for herself. So I think that's just what, when it comes down to it, I just, like, is she good? Like, because I mean, for a minute, I was like, "Is she good or is she bad?" And then with me bringing up the topic, should she have helped Letty and like, but she's using people at the end of the day. She really is. So
Right.
I guess we can do some closing remarks because I mean, that was this episode. I will say this episode was really focused on Letty and her. I mean, the biggest things was what Letty went through. I think it was the whole situation with buying the house and, the inheritance of the money and then having that more tension with her sister. Then, the housewarming party and then they're still the neighbors are still trying to get them out. And, with the burning cross and everything, she has that powerful moment, busting them out. She goes to jail and everything. Then you come back. You got to get these demons out your house. So this episode was really solely focused on her. And I appreciate that because she, from the last episode, like I said, with her dying in the last episode and then being brought back, this episode was like a resurrection and a rebirth for her. You can tell she had a new spirit and a newfound, a new drive for what she wanted to do for herself and the people around her. So yeah. That was my take on this whole episode.
Yeah, I love it. That, like I was saying before, I really like how this is kind of a new start to, whatever narrative is going to be told for the rest of the season. We get immersed in this world. We actually get some time as opposed to episode 1. We get some time with, the neighborhood and all these characters, and we get to know them a little more. We get to see, even deeper what's going on with Ruby and Letty and, even a little bit of Tick. And even though George isn't there, we have, Hippolyta, to start looking at. Like, it's a lot in this episode, that just, I really do appreciate.
Right.
And even then, this is, kind of considered the episode that really focuses on, the Black women, and how important how important of a role that they're going to be playing, throughout the series. And it's really smart and well directed. And I will say, we're going to get into it, I'm sure, in a different, bonus episode or something. The Ouija board scene where, the character Bobo is asking, is he going to have a good time in Mississippi? And he's told no. Like,
yeah.
It's little things like that.
Yeah, that was like, when it comes down to the writers and how they do this show and they plant little stuff like that comes back basically to haunt us in future episodes. Like that was not saying that it's because it's not an Easter egg. I mean, it's just a little seed for the future of the show. So, that what you saying that hurts. Like, because when that happened, I was just like, okay, I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So it's a great episode.
I want to do a little shout out real quick to one of our brothers. He's been really supporting us with To Lovecraft and Back. And I just want to give him a little shout out. This is our brother Q. You can find him on Twitter at QuamonStarG. He has a YouTube channel where he does stream his video games that he plays, and he also has another little thing where he talks about wrestling with another friend of ours, Key. But I just wanted to give him a personal shout out because since we started To Lovecraft and Back, he's really been, behind us and, talking to us and, giving us feedback and also just being there to support us. So I do want to just give him a big, shout out. Because he has shouted us out. He also has another a little live stream on Facebook with his brother. It is at Into the Universe. We will put the description in this page, and we will also tweet this out when this episode drops. But we just want to say thank you, Q, because you've really been one of our biggest supporters, and we just want to say thank you for everything that you have been doing. You shouted us out on like your last 2 episodes, and with us taking our little break, we want to just say thank you for what you did, and we appreciate your support. So everybody go check out our bro Q at his page. Like I said, we will drop the links on our Twitter page, and yes, give him a little shout out and everything. And I was proud of him because with him doing the, his game footage and everything. And he did that reaction of No More Heroes, and he had that peak of having 100 views, and he was just very, very excited. And I think that is one of my favorite reaction videos, because it caught him off guard when it happened, because he was watching the Nintendo Direct thing, and it caught him off guard when the No Heroes happens. And it was just his real natural expression about something that he has a passion for and something that he loves to play. His expression, and it was like the gas that it has. It's like, that's the content that I like to see. I like to see that natural experience of things. So, I'm glad he had that many views on that video, because it was real. Like, his reaction was real to him seeing that this game is coming out, and that, it is about to have a new run and everything. But shout out to Q. We love you, bro. Yeah. And, thank you for the support, and we'll be here to support you as well. Do you have anything else for us, Mr. Aaron, before we sign off?
Oh, no, Mr. Mike. I think we got everything under control, and we said what we need to say.
Yes, sir, we did. Thank you for listening to Lovecraft and Back, and we will catch you on the next episode. Y'all have a good night.
Always.